Hey, what's going on, guys? I wanted to post second part of my video on my auto water exchange system. Basically, this is kind of what's happening down in the basement, how the system actually works, where the pumps are. So obviously I'm using the LiterMeter 3 system. Basically, you need two pumps. You need one pump to add water, that's the white line. You need one pump to remove water from the aquarium, that's the black line. This is basically the A pump, is what this ends up being, and this is the B pump. So B, black, water coming back, A, white, water being added. There are three pumps on the shelf. I don't want to confuse anybody. This is actually the auto top-off pump. That has nothing to do with my system of water exchange. I did a video on that if you want to take a look on how I used it. Again, I really like LiterMeter. It's a USA company. They're making really high quality parts. They're using three rollers. I don't know if you can kind of see it in there. They're using three roller pumps. So there's no chance you're going to get a siphon. Really well made. I mean, the machining, the way they put these together, you know, this is well made, you know, made out of metal. It's high quality pump, and it shows. It's able to pump a long distance, and it's incredibly precise. This is sort of verging on the scientific grade without having to pay an enormous amount of money for that kind of a pump. So basically, electricity is coming down through here into the pump. That's the power port. That system I showed upstairs of the water exchange module, that's what cuts off the power and shuts off the pump if you were to start overflowing your sump. This pump is its own sort of controller slash pump on the A pump, and then it controls this B pump through this little connection in the slave here. I'm going to turn on the B pump so you can kind of see about how loud the B pump is here. So give me a second here, let me turn it on. So it's not very loud, but the way this pump works is you select the amount of water you want to exchange, and then it takes that number, divides it into 150 individual operations, and turns the pump on and off 150 times. So that means the A pump is turning on 150 times a day, the B pump is turning on 150 times a day, and the auto top off probably turns on at least 100, maybe 200 times a day. So you're talking about like 400 or 500 times a day that little thing's going to turn on and off in your cabinet. That would drive the family crazy. So I moved all this stuff down to the basement because A, the noise is now down here, and B, everything's kind of in one place. It's easy to work on, easy to service, and it also gives me a lot more space to work with. I've got this whole wall here that nobody seems to care if I put my aquarium stuff on this little wall. So basically, kind of lets me move everything into one space and kind of, you know, frees up a lot of space upstairs to make the sump look nice and not have a bunch of noise. Kind of want to walk through how this works. We'll start with the B pump, the water being pulled back. So this is the water that was coming from upstairs, travels through the 3-ring roller. Advantage of these three roller systems is that there's no way to get a siphon, so you don't have to worry about suddenly draining all your water from your sump. And then that water could come out of here, and it could basically go right into a drain, or you could duct it outside or whatever you wanted to do. In my case, since I'm trying to calibrate it, I'm going into this beaker. Again, I have a 100-liter volume in my aquarium. So I am trying to exchange 1%. So that means that I want basically 1 liter of water being removed and added every day. And so that's why I'm going in here. I'm sort of just calibrating it. However, when I bought my sump, you know, I went ahead and bought it with this auto top off container, freshwater container. And Reef or Synergy Reef did a really nice job with it. I'm not using it because instead I ended up using one of these 20-gallon food safe trash cans basically. So I may end up setting this up as kind of like a little quarantine tank or a little mini tank down here. and taking that water, ducting it in here, and then just setting up a really easy system to just drain water over here into the drain. And then I kind of have like my own little tiny micro, aquarium down here that I can kind of use for different things, like for example, a quarantine tank. All right, so that's how the water gets removed. The water being added, that again, that's in that white line right there. Let me get it. There you go. So this is the water being added to the aquarium. Goes through the roller on the A pump here. Comes out of here. Gets pulled from this barrel. This barrel is my saltwater barrel. I got these both at a restaurant supply company. So, they were a lot cheaper there. If you try to buy it on Amazon, they like charge you for the lid, then the barrel, then the rollers are like crazy expensive. So I just bought the whole thing as kind of a complete kit. And I think they charged me like $40 or $35 for each one, which is pretty reasonable. And then I ended up getting some stickers online from like a safety supply warehouse for like, I think they were $4 a piece. Way nicer than me going at it with a highlighter or the magic marker. I think if I went at it with a permanent marker, it'd be pretty ugly. So I want to show you the saltwater tank here. So inside my saltwater tank, I've got my little, that's my little inlet that sort of floats in the water there. I've got the auto shut off for my RODI when I end up filling it back up. And then at the very bottom, kind of show you here, that's an MP10 power head. I ended up getting one of those things. I got a good deal on it. The thing was, when I had them operating, it just drove me nuts. It was so loud. You could kind of hear it like spool up, spool down. I ended up changing to a Tunzi 6150, and that thing is just silent. I don't even hear it. All I hear occasionally is just the trickle of the water moving. Much happier with that than this. I really wanted this to work. Obviously, I want to get some use out of it, so it has been redelegated to become the saltwater tank water mixing device. And it goes underneath there, and then on the back, I mounted the little controller. I plug it in. I probably will end up putting it on a timer, and then just like, once a day or something like that, it might mix up the water. I'll have to look up how often I need to do that. And that'll do that. So, and then this little area, just while I'm down here, that's my RODI system. Eventually, future location of my my dosing pumps. I'm gonna end up setting up a four dosing pump system. But as far as the LiterMeter system, obviously, they don't pay me. I just bought this, but I love this system. Really, really well made. It's working perfectly for the water exchange. Like I said, you can get in here and you can really just tune it exactly to the exact amount of water that you want to move, both adding and removing, and just get the system totally dialed in. Once you get it dialed in, I think this system's going to be pretty much set and forget. Maybe, every 6 months or 3 months, just calibrate it, just make sure that everything's working correctly. But I think this is pretty much, designed to be operating kind of forever. And I'm really, really happy with their products. I know they're made in the United States and really well made. So I hope that helps somebody with a water exchange system. I know it's kind of a long video, 2 videos, but I kind of wanted to give you details so that if somebody wants to build one, they know what parts I bought and they can kind of set it up the way they want it. All right, hope that helps.